Frankly, I would be shocked if there isn't a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. Literally, the entire primary cast has vocally said they love the series and want to return. We live in an era of creative bankruptcy in Hollywood. So if Disney ever wants to reboot another sitcom from the 2000s, which they inevitably will, they only have 4 options. Todd J. Greenwald has stated that he'd like a Wizards reboot to be adult-leaning, like the iCarly reboot. I honestly don't think that's possible, because the Lizzie McGuire reboot completely collapsed because Disney wasn't willing to have naughty words or sexual content anywhere near its properties. I don't like to be a conspiracy theorist, but Disney Channel's YouTube channel has been releasing episodes of Wizards weekly for several weeks now. I doubt it, but what if they're gauging interest in the show by doing that? I mean, honest to God, Selena and David are all you'd need for a Wizards reboot to work. Max, Jerry, and Teresa could just be occasional guest stars sometimes. On October 12th, David Henry indicated on an Instagram story that something special is in the works. He also made a similar comment on Disney Plus's Instagram, which he soon deleted. That was a couple months ago now. Either he's just overhyping very early discussions, or they are actually tangibly working on something, and if that's the case, the fact that it's taken 2 months means it's a little more substantial than a YouTube reunion.
Well, you know everything's gonna be a breeze. At the end will no doubt justify the means. You can fix any problem with the slightest ease. Yes, please.
I waited 13 years now. Okay, here we go. Let's fire it up. As soon as Dan becomes a porn star, let's reboot Wizards again. You guys suck. I'm just kidding.
It's back. I called it. I knew it.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I spent 15 minutes talking about the possibility and likelihood of a reboot during my Wizards of Waverly Place analysis thing from 2022. And I hit the nail on so many heads. Today we're going to discuss the reboot, who's involved, who isn't. Sorry I've been gone for 3 months, I've been playing Mario Kart. So let's get into it. All that the main viral posts have really communicated is that Selena Gomez and David Henry are just reprising their roles in a Wizards reboot. But us true Wizard heads have done some deeper digging, and there's a lot more information that's just readily available that no one seems to know yet. This was all originally reported by Deadline and a big exclusive. David Henry and Selena Gomez are executive producing. After a mysterious incident at WizTech, Justin has chosen to abandon his wizard powers entirely and live a completely normal human life with his wife and 2 sons. His oldest son is named Roman Russo, and he's played by Alkeo Thiel. I'm really crossing my fingers his second son is named Riker for a sick Lab Rats Elite Force reference.
You're Roman and Riker. Your dad is the superhero Odysseus.
Alkeo's never really been in anything before, and he only started acting a couple years ago.
I got all A's and said no to drugs. Bye, Uncle Dad. Bye. I'm gonna go clear my browser history.
I found his acting reel if you want to see what we're in for.
I'll take him. I mean, I'll have to ask my mom, but if you're gonna give him back, I'll take him.
Justin's wife is played by Mimi Giannopoulos, and she's named Gada. And that's an Italian name, which is interesting because the Russo family is also Italian.
You want the dream, we all do, but eventually you'll have to grow up and settle for something more realistic. Like a quarry rock.
Things are shaken up when a powerful young wizard named Billy shows up, played by Janice Leanne Brown. And Justin has to embrace his past to ensure the future of the wizarding world.
13, 14, 15, 16.
What are you looking at, Ruth?
17.
Ruth, look at me.
So it's not going to be Justin's own kids, it's going to be a different kid in training, which is interesting. It's a wrinkle to that premise. Now in the original show, Jerry gave up his powers, married Teresa, then had Justin, Alex, and Max, who all still had powers, which implies that Roman and the unnamed son, Riker, will also have wizard powers. So it'll be 2 kids and 1 outsider. That's an interesting change to the dynamic, although it'll probably still be functionally the same. Alex is reportedly only having a little cameo in the pilot. She'll probably be on set for 1 day, and that's enough for her. Selena Gomez has said many times she wants to return as Alex Russo.
Yeah. Mine's Wizards, hands down. I would love that.
It's time, right?
Wizards, it's my Disney show, you don't know.
But when push came to shove, she just wanted to return as Alex for 1 day. The pilot's written and executive produced by Jed Elinoff and Scott Thomas, who were the creators of Ravensholm. So when I kind of predicted that a Wizards reboot would be Ravensholm-esque, I was even more spot on than I thought. The final 2 executive producers are Andy Fickman, who will also direct the pilot, and Gary Marsh, who the article claims was the instrumental driving force in the original Wizards of Waverly Place, despite the fact that I've never heard of him before, and his name was not in the credits of any episode that I can find. But I'll take their word for it, I guess. Supposedly, he's the one who found Selena Gomez out in the wild, and was like, hey, what if we made her famous? And Disney Channel was like, okay. Here are all of the actors' talent agencies. So that's what the article says. As I highlighted in that old video, David and Selena have had ideas for this reboot for years.
Have there been any talks about rebooting Wizards of Waverly Place?
Selena and I have a reboot.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. We sit and talk about it all the time.
You guys would want it.
It's not formal. But Selena and I sit and we talk about what would the reboot be, and we have a whole take.
And it seems that they have finally kind of laid the groundwork for what they want this series to be, because it seems like they discussed something pretty similar during this Instagram live stream Selena did a while back.
I think we should do a reunion where, Justin is still running the college.
But you have kids. Alex is for sure single.
Okay, Justin's got like 15 children.
Okay.
Alex is single.
What is
she's still trying to find herself. She's now like 25.
Okay, all right,
and she's still
calm
trying
down.
to figure
Okay.
things out.
How do I feel about that? How do I feel about Justin just completely giving up his powers? That's stupid. What the hell? Let me recap the ending of that show. The show has established very firmly throughout all 4 seasons that a wizard is not allowed to marry a non-magical being, and a non-wizard is not allowed to marry a magical being. The Wizard Council enforces these rules across all magical beings because they're kind of crazy. Alex has been dating Mason the werewolf. Juliet has just been resurrected in one of the very final episodes. Once again, I like to stress, with no discernible explanation for how she's back, so that she and Justin can be together. Now going into the finale, only Alex or Justin will win the Family Wizard competition, meaning only one of them will get to stay with their partner. And the show never highlights how fucked up a situation that is.
Go, Justin! Go, Alex!
In the end, Justin emerges victorious, but he confesses that Alex really deserved to win because she saved him when his leg was stuck on the weakest ass branch of all time. So Alex is appointed the Family Wizard, but then Professor Crumbs decides that he wants to resign and appoint Justin as his successor as the leader of the WizTech institution, allowing Justin to keep his powers, thus finding a loophole, leaving Max the only loser.
Oh, I hope it's Justin. I hope it's Alex. I'm gonna go with Max so we can say that somebody rooted for him.
And now Justin's thrown all of that away. How would Professor Crumbs feel? They gave us the cheapest cop-out ending back in 2011 so Justin could keep his powers, only to just throw them away for the reboot. Being a wizard was just so important to Justin his whole life, and I'm so skeptical that he would just want to discard all of that. I guess maybe technically your brain doesn't fully form until you're 25, and so it's just like a spinning roulette wheel of personality traits, and it lands on the final one at age 25, and maybe Justin just decided, you know what, I'm done being a wizard. Maybe that's where his wheel landed. I guess, but it's like, why was that character development happening off screen? I'm so tired of Disney rebooting things years later, where the characters had a happy ending, and then taking that happy ending away, and then gradually giving them that happy ending again. It's like, wait, they were just happy! What are you doing? You know Justin's gonna be depressed in the kid-friendly, kid-accessible way, and he'll slowly have to re-embrace his wizard identity. I am curious what this mystery WizTech incident is, though. I'm sure that'll offer, much more insight into his thought process there. Juliet's completely out of the picture, which is incredibly predictable because I'm sure at this point in her career, Bridget Mendler has better things to do than star as a side character in a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. I'm sure maybe she'd come back for a Good Luck Charlie special or something. I don't think Wizards is gonna get her. Something else I noticed, Alkeo is 13 years old. If the character Roman is also 13 years old, does that mean Justin vacated his position at WizTech immediately? Either the character's gotta be younger than the actor, or the show's gotta be set years in the future. Otherwise, the timeline of him leaving Juliet, meeting Gata, and departing WizTech is so accelerated. But for sure, he was not there for more than 3 or 4 years. Because you can't have a human kid with a human if you're the head of WizTech. And Justin would not be one to violate the rules of that institution. During my videos, my thesis statement was basically that Alex and Justin are two sides of a coin and their dynamic is the heart and soul of Wizards of Waverly Place. They did a reunion special called Alex vs. Alex, where David Henry wasn't able to reprise his role, and it was just lacking a spark. It lacked a soul. However, I'm open to this because it's doing something completely different. It's a new show. Justin's going to take on a new role and a new family dynamic, so I feel like there is potential for it to work. I still think my premise of Alex and Justin co-running WizTech together is superior, but it is what it is. Ironically, I got my very first comment detracting from my reboot idea like 2 days ago, and they said it's too removed from the urban setting that was so essential to Wizards of Waverly Place in the first place, to the point that it's part of the name, Waverly Place. And that is actually a genuinely good point. And it took over a year for someone to point that out. So okay, I'll concede. I'm fine with whatever they're doing. If Alex Russo isn't a main character, then I guess there's no point in doing an aged up iCarly style reboot, because Alex Russo is the reason you do that, okay? David Henry's not gonna be up to the most entertaining adult shenanigans. And that was never gonna happen anyway, let's be real. Something I do find notable is that original series creator Todd J. Greenwald was not mentioned by Deadline to be involved in any capacity. Instead, the showrunners were not involved in the original Wizards. Over the last couple years, Todd J. Greenwald has been publicly indicating many times that he does not think there should ever be a Wizards of Waverly Place reboot. He thinks it needs to be laid to rest and people need to move on. And that reads to me as him knowing the reboot's coming and not necessarily being happy about it. He reached out to me on Twitter to say he really liked my Wizards video, so I asked him recently if he's involved, and he did not respond at all. So I don't know. I feel like he may not be happy about this reboot or working on it. That's just speculation, though. He has not made any sort of statement about it. The question is, did they study this original series that they certainly didn't grow up with to understand the magic of it and the charm of it and the appeal of it? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I feel like Wizards is probably one of those shows that can, you know, carry on without its creator. I said for like 2 years that Rick and Morty is a show that doesn't need Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. And then post Roiland's fall, we learned that they really hadn't been involved in the show much at all, especially Roiland, who hadn't done anything since season 3. And it's like, I felt so validated. Just once again, I've never been incorrect about anything. A lot of people don't realize that because of how many times I'm wrong. The title of the show, as seen on the script, is just Wizards. I'm not sure if that's a placeholder name or if that's actually what they're gonna call it. And if so, that would truly throw everything into disarray, because Wizards is just how people refer to Wizards of Waverly Place in shorthand. So would we have to retroactively start calling that Waverly Place or something if the new show is just called Wizards? How would we distinguish them? David tweeted about it multiple times. He seems a lot more excited because, let's be real, he probably needs this boost to his career more than Selena does. Selena Gomez just threw it up on her Instagram story, which expired after 24 hours. David's pinned post right now is using the exact same image of Justin that I used on my thumbnail, because it is just an undeniably hard, raw image. No one would object to that claim, I think. David's eagerly engaging with everyone in the comments section, even non-famous people, which famous people would normally never associate with such, such a riffraff. The brands are also jumping all over this. Cameos like, David Henry, talk about the reboot on Cameo. Even Target's like, funky fucking hat. David Henry's like, laughing emoticon at Target. That is so true, David. Discussing Film on Twitter reported that David DeLuise, who played Jerry, was reportedly unaware because under David's post, he commented, "Reboot?" ? I don't think that's what that means. Like, I think he's just being kind of coy and playful about it. I would be shocked if they just didn't tell Jennifer Stone, David DeLuise, and the others about the reboot, especially given that they appear on their podcast all the time, Wizards of Waverly Pod, which I've never watched, by the way, because I see no appeal in just listening to someone talk about Wizards of Waverly Place for 14 hours. Bill Chott, who played Principal Larry Tate, indicated that he knew all about it. Bill Chott, whose pinned tweet is a Watch Mojo video showcasing him as one of the top 10 Disney Channel principals. He's just really happy he made it into that Watch Mojo video, and that's his pinned tweet. I did post one minor update regarding Bill Chott last year, which is that he indicated he had already filmed part of a Wizards reboot, and so I made a community post saying there's a handful of options here. The first option being that he was just on the podcast, and in his head, that is a reboot, and then that turned out to be the case. So it's just made me chuckle. I think he's a very funny man. I love Bill Chott.
So if Bill Schott knew, I think David DeLuise and Jennifer Stone knew. As dramatic and spicy and exciting as it would be if they didn't. I've gone through and I've charted who's acknowledged the reboot and who hasn't. Pretty much all of them have.
What do you think they do with Zeke's character? They just act like he doesn't exist? Do they recast him?
Maria Canales Barrera and TJ Austin have not, but also they don't really use social media. At this point, they just show up like once a month to either retweet an article about themselves or do some paid promotion. Same goes for most of them, really. Jennifer Stone's just said like, oh, happy times, yippee. It would be very entertaining if they were all kept out of the loop and they're feeling betrayed and backstabbed by this revival that they didn't know about. But it seems too epic to be true. Okay, I did just find explicit confirmation from David that everyone knew about this. David Henry's also indicated on Instagram that they will try to bring all of the other characters into the series if they get a full order, which, you know, naturally makes sense. We'll be getting little cameos and guest stars from Harper and everyone, one by one as the show goes on. I definitely want an episode where Greg Sulkin shows up and continues to use random British words as expletives.
Double-decker bus, that was close.
I think the goofiest thing is that through all of these viral tweets, I recognize exactly which episode and scene all of these screenshots are from. This one's from Don't Rain on Justin's Parade in Season 2. This is from the end of the Wizards vs. Angels special after Rosie has just disappeared. I got groceries like 2 hours ago and I haven't put them in my fridge and I just have eggs and shit on my counter. I've just been so eager to make this video! Look at my eggs. Oh, I can't zoom in. My question is, how nostalgia heavy is this gonna be? Like, are there gonna be episodes where Justin teaches Billy the old spells that they learned in Wizards? Like, Billy, this is McReary time Reary. Or Billy, these are the slaves that we keep as wizards. It seems based on what David indicated in October of 2022 that they have been developing this for a long time. And it may very well be that the actor strikes are part of why this slowed down. In fact, I'm sure that's likely a factor for why it took so long from that first announcement. Supposedly, this is gonna come in 2024. My understanding is that normally they film and polish pilots during like the spring, January to April kind of area. Then during the summer, they'll film the actual seasons so that they're ready to air a bunch of shows in the fall, in September. Given the amount of buzz and press this has already had in 2 days, I would be genuinely shocked if they don't greenlight the full season from here. Because what are they gonna do? Just get the pilot and say, this isn't working, and scrap the show after they've announced Selena Gomez is coming back? So fingers crossed, that is good. I'm looking forward to it. Sweet Life on Deck video. I've barely started, I can't lie. I know, I recognize the irony that I said it won't be Quentin reviews levels of long, and then it has been, and he's released 2 videos in the time since. Look, it's coming, okay? Shut up! I get like comments every single day. Where's the Sweet Life on Deck? It's in my brain, but it's coming out slowly. Be patient. Thanks everyone for watching this YouTube video that I just made for you. Bye.